This week, Detective Denzel Washington teams up with rookie Angelina Jolie to nab the bone collector.
Joe Mantegna and Bebe Neuwirth worry about their precocious son in Liberty Heights.
And Chris O'Donnell won't inherit $100 million if he remains the Bachelor.
Chief Murphy sent me.
Oh, good chief.
Have you heard about that couple at the airport got in a taxi yesterday morning? Never made it home?
Denzel Washington plays a paralyzed cop whose skills are needed on a baffling murder case in The Bone Collector, which is one of 6 new movies we'll review this week. I'm Roger Ebert, film critic of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I am Joyce Kulhawick, film critic for WBZ in Boston, and I can't wait to get started.
Okay, let's jump right in with our first movie, The Bone Collector, which opens with a couple getting into a cab at the airport, and later the man's body is found buried in a bizarre way, and the woman is still missing. The crime scene is thick with clues, and only one man can unsort them. Forensics expert Denzel Washington, who was paralyzed from the neck down while investigating an earlier murder scene. From the bed where he now spends his life, he asked to meet the young cop who did such a good job of preserving the evidence at the murder scene. She's played by Angelina Jolie.
I want you to work the case with us.
Forensics is not my area.
Are you being modest, or are you a little uneasy about doing some real police work?
Another victim disappears, and it becomes apparent that someone is deliberately playing mind games with Washington. He has faith in the young officer's skills and sends Jolie as his eyes and ears to a possible murder site.
All right, I'm going to walk you through collecting the evidence. You do everything exactly as I say. Talk to me.
It's a bloody bone.
Each crime scene includes a tiny bit of old paper. Do these clues fit together to make a single message?
Enhance. Fade.
That's a woman's face.
Yes, it is.
You know, watching this movie, I was struck by the disparity between its great skill and its low intelligence. It's well made in a technical way, it's well photographed, it's well acted, but the story is so dumb. What are we supposed to believe? That a serial killer is going to spend days and weeks making up complicated clues and laboriously planning them like a little puzzle for Denzel Washington to figure out? I don't think so. The Bone Collector is in the tradition of Seven, Kiss the Girls, and Copycat, where the crimes are stage managed by the killers, and you kind of know you have to play along with things a little bit. That's the rules of the game, but this time the plot is so preposterous that I finally just gave up.
That would be my review. I can't believe it. I thought this was a difficult film to talk about because there's so many good things here. But this script, it seems impossible that they could make any sense out of those clues. And I also felt cheated at the end because you could never, as an audience member, figure out who that killer was. And you can't do that.
Without giving away anything,
you can't do that.
Without giving away anything, it's kind of a rule in the movies that somebody who's around should be the person who did it.
Exactly.
You can't just at the hour and 40-minute mark have somebody, you know, take a bus into town and identify himself as the killer. That's not fair.
It's so true, and I could feel it coming, and I can always tell. I've got this little barometer, and it's almost like I felt my interest waning, and I thought, oh, I know what they're going to do. They're sort of ticking off the red herrings one by one, and there it is. And okay, and we weren't prepared, and who cares?
Yeah, in fact, how about a real movie about a paralyzed cop and a young woman who has read his books and stuff? A real about them as characters.
All the ingredients were there.
Instead of this preposterous story.
Exactly. Terrific. Our next film is quite timely as we obsess about the millennium. It's from Canada, where it won the equivalent of 3 Oscars. It's called Last Night and is a pre-apocalyptic vision of the last night on Earth. Patrick and Sandra were strangers but met after her car was stolen. Now they're looking to steal one themselves so that Sandra can get home to her husband. She's played by Sandra Oh.
I know in my heart that I'm not in a meaningful relationship right now. I'm not with a woman that I love, and I can deal with that. I just feel that now is not the time to compromise.
There's something to be said for human companionship.
This one?
Fine, fine.
Okay. Stand back.
No, wait! Oh, Jesus. I can't drive standard.
While Patrick wants to be alone and Sandra wants her husband, Patrick's friend Craig wants to have sex, which he does with almost everybody, including his high school French teacher, played by Geneviève Bujold.
Au revoir, madame.
Adieu.
Adieu.
Bon voyage.
As the end approaches, Patrick and Sandra begin to get more intimate.
Well, I was born here in Toronto and lived here all my life, in North York, actually. And my father was a stockbroker.
Okay, you better hurry up. Tell me something to make me love you.
This is a directorial debut for Don McKellar, who also wrote the film and stars as Patrick. And I wasn't completely convinced by his efforts. The plot contrivances bothered me a little bit, and some of the acting seems stilted. But I did appreciate the film's original approach, its intimate focus and relaxed tone, a relief from the grand and chaotic doomsday scenarios one might expect under the circumstances. And the ending was surprisingly powerful and moving. Last Night isn't flawless, but it finally accomplishes what it sets out to do.
Yes, it does. And you know, I saw this movie at Cannes, and then in the fall I was on this talk show at the Toronto Film Festival, and people were asking, well, what's the difference between a Canadian film and an American film? And my answer was the difference between Armageddon and Last Night. Because Hollywood makes these movies with Bruce Willis blowing up asteroids, and Canada makes movies about people who sit in a room and think about what life has meant to them and what they mean to each other and how they want to have a little dignity and a certain amount of sweetness and bittersweet grace as the end approaches. This movie is surprisingly touching.
In fact, I think the filmmaker was trying to poke a little fun maybe at his countrymen doing that. I think it's a little bit autobiographical. You know, everybody's so calm, and I almost didn't buy that. It almost seemed like somebody should have cracked up, and it's going on around the periphery.
There are people in the square who are demonstrating and treating it all like it's New Year's Eve. So they are there, but these people behaved kind of the way I would. If you wanted to make a movie about the end of the world, how would you end your movie? He has answered that question correctly. Coming up later in the show, Chris O'Donnell and Renee Zellweger have a very on-again, off-again engagement in The Bachelor.
He botched it!
Coming up next, Liberty Heights with Joe Mantegna and Bebe Neuwirth.
Put the Fuhrer on the phone.
Your father wants to talk to you.
More coal in the boiler. They told me to shovel more coal in the boiler, but that don't do.
How do you think they came up with that order? What? That the Jews should be first.
3 Jewish teenagers are growing up in Baltimore in 1954, and that's seen from Liberty Heights, a wonderful new film by Barry Levinson, and this is his 4th film based on memories of coming of age in his hometown of Baltimore. The others were Diner, Tin Men, and Avalon. The action in Liberty Heights is seen through the eyes of 2 brothers. One of them, named Ben, is played by Ben Foster and has an irreverent sense of humor.
Oh, my God. Oh. Have you lost your mind? Have you completely lost your mind?
What are you talking about? It's Halloween.
His school has just been integrated, and he kind of likes the smart, studious black girl who's new in the classroom.
What?
She's attractive.
Just kill me now.
The black student's name is Sylvia, played by Rebecca Johnson, and they become friends in a shy and sweet way. One day they're hanging out when her father arrives home unexpectedly.
Sylvia, how could you do such a thing?
We didn't do anything.
What's his name?
Ben Kurtzman.
Mr. Kurtzman?
Yes, sir.
Would you come out of the closet, please?
That's James Pickens Jr. as her father, and Ben's father, played by Joe Mantegna, runs a burlesque theater and the local numbers game.
Not to cause anxiety, but I hear the state is thinking of a lottery.
Oh, that's old talk. Lukey Saperstein's been pushing that since the end of the war.
It's gathering steam in Annapolis. They're looking for new revenue.
What they should do is legalize gambling. It's good for business. Vegas is going through the roof. Lottery.
Ben's older brother, named Van, and played by Adrian Brody, has his own problems. He feels love at first sight for a troubled Gentile girl. But Liberty Heights isn't really primarily about young love. It's about values. It's about knowing who you are and what you stand for. And one of the most interesting characters is played by Joe Mantegna. His business is outside the law, but he's an honest man, and his ethics are unshakable. That actually gets him in a lot of trouble. Liberty Heights has lots of humor in it and some wonderful nostalgia and a real big heart. I really like this movie.
I'm going to say that I like this movie, but it didn't quite measure up to Avalon, let's say, for me, or Diner. I thought it was weaker than either of those for one reason. I didn't feel that the film had one clear, dramatic spine. It wasn't dramatically shaped enough
It seemed to me that really what it's about, because the father is in a business that, as the mother tells the kids, what your father does is not legal.
Right.
But nevertheless, he's absolutely ethical.
Interesting. You know, I thought it was less about values and more about crossing boundaries, pushing at limits. Racial boundaries, religious boundaries, class boundaries.
It's that too.
And
There's a lot.
I would have expected more, almost more confrontation, more tension here.
Well, there's a lot in this movie. It's a very rich movie, and I just like the fact that it showed all of these people and all of their problems at that time and in that place. I loved it.
I just wanted more. I wanted more. I thought some of his other films along this line were a little better.
Okay.
There you go. Coming up next, Chris O'Donnell wants $100 million, but is he willing to marry Renee Zellweger to get it? The Bachelor, when we come back.
Was that a proposal?
If you don't get married before 6:05 p.m. on your 30th birthday, you're going to get cut off without a cent.
That's a scene from our next film, which is based on a Buster Keaton classic, but is definitely déclassé. The Bachelor stars Chris O'Donnell as a guy who can't commit, so he botches his proposal to the right girl, played by Renee Zellweger.
The upshot is, you win.
You win? Was that a proposal?
But O'Donnell's character discovers that he has to get married within 24 hours or lose a $100 million inheritance, so his friend takes out an ad in the newspaper.
Ladies? Let's get it!
The bridal stampede is ridiculous and demeaning. The plot far-fetched, the characters two-dimensional, even the cameos by Brooke Shields and Mariah Carey fall completely flat. People just don't behave like this. The ending tries to be winsome, but The Bachelor is a loser.
You know, you mentioned it's based on a 1925 movie by Buster Keaton, and as I watched it, I thought, gee, this movie would be better if it were in black and white and silent, and it had Buster Keaton in it.
Definitely silent.
Because then the simplicity and innocence of the story could come through, and modern people don't act like this.
No, they don't. And
No,
it doesn't know what it wants
there's
to be.
not a single moment that you can believe or care about. They're attractive actors, but what are they doing in this movie?
Forget it. It's an embarrassment.
Okay, I've forgotten it already. Our next movie is American Movie, a terrific documentary by Chris Smith about a Wisconsin man named Mark Borchardt who dreams of only one thing, making movies. He hasn't had much success, but he is boundlessly optimistic, and in this scene, he pitches his latest production.
It's an alcoholic man compelled to go to this group meeting by his one and only friends left, but they're not that helpful, the group, you know? You know about the group thing?
Yeah.
Okay. That's his good friend Mike Shank there. Borchardt would like to turn him into a cameraman, but Mike's technique is shaky.
But I mean, if you would see an action, you would kind of like centrifugally focus on it being in the center.
Yeah, I can figure that out, yeah.
I mean, I think my mom's going to have to end up going out in the woods. I mean, it's just one of those things.
I have my shopping to do, and I have so much.
But Borchardt's mom is actually a pretty good camera operator. They're working on a short film here named Coven. The chief source of money for Mark's productions is his Uncle Bill, who was also pressed into service as an actor.
You got to watch your teeth, too, because they clack a little bit when they loosen up in the mouth. And take 10.
It's all right. It's okay. It's something to live for. Jesus told me so.
And here is the opening sequence from the movie they're working on, Coven, which, true to Borchardt's dream, is actually available on home video.
It's all right. It's okay. It's something to live for. Jesus told me so.
American Movie is funny, but it's also kind of inspiring. It's funny because Mark Borchardt is a real character. I kept thinking that if the heroes of Wayne's World made a movie, it would go a lot like this. But at the same time, you have to admire his dogged determination. He may not have had any success yet, but that doesn't stop him. And in his love and obsession for the movies, you can sense the soul of an artist, even if you can't always quite see the ability.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. He is so wonderful. I loved this man, and all he has is a dream. He has no money. There is no equipment. He barely has a camera operator. He's on the floor with his mother trying to shoot this thing. It's almost like watching a train wreck in slow motion, and you're thinking he could never possibly succeed. But then somehow, when I saw some of the opening shots of Coven, which he insists on calling it Coven, true to his vision, I was struck by how elegant some of those images are.
He does have an eye. And,
he may have some of the technical skills there.
To me, the actor who steals the movie is his Uncle Bill, who is a real person, who lives in a trailer, has a certain amount of money, which Mark is determined to separate him from. And Uncle Bill is not deceived by anything. He knows that this is just going to go down a rat hole, that the movie is never going to be made, that Mark is just dreaming, and yet he gives him the money and keeps complaining the whole time, and those scenes are priceless, and the whole movie is just such an American original. It's about a guy who wants to make movies. And you know, this is small scale of what goes on in Hollywood. I mean, if Uncle Bill were a billionaire and Mark Borchardt were some guy working in a studio, things wouldn't be that much different.
No, I have to say I loved everything about this movie. It's one of the best character studies I've ever seen, and I can't wait to see Coven.
I've seen it, so...
Is it good?
You can wait. Okay. When we come back, Tim Roth plays a jazz pianist who was born at sea and never steps foot on dry land. That's in The Legend of 1900.
Next up is the first English-language film by the Italian filmmaker who gave us the lovely Cinema Paradiso, Giuseppe Tornatore. His latest effort, The Legend of 1900, mines similar territory but falls far short of paradise. It's the tale of a baby abandoned on an ocean liner. Raised by the crew and named 1900 for the year of his birth, he never sets foot on land. Amazingly, however, he becomes a musical virtuoso on the keyboard. Tim Roth plays the title character.
Hey.
1900 forms a close friendship with a member of the ship's band, a trumpet player played by Pruitt Taylor Vince.
God knows you can't spend the rest of your life traveling back and forth like some yo-yo. The world is out there.
This conversation is almost as heavy-handed as the musical duel that ensues between 1900 and jazz legend Jelly Roll Morton, played by Clarence Williams III, who boards the ship ready to do battle.
The only reason why I'm hopping this crappy tub is because there's a gentleman I want to meet. They say he plays a hot piano.
The scene with Jelly Roll Morton culminates in the music getting so hot that 1900 is able to light a cigarette on the overheated strings of his piano. The film is pretty to look at and the music is often stirring, but the tone is emotionally overwrought. It's supposed to be an incredible story, but it is so incredible I didn't buy it. The Legend of 1900 is a suffocatingly sentimental pile of claptrap.
Whoa! Well, I didn't like it either, and my thumb is not up, but I guess I liked it a good deal more than you did.
Oh, I was wincing.
I was kind of affectionate about this film and about its notion of a guy who spends all of his life at sea, looking longingly at the shore, and obviously he has kind of the reverse of agoraphobia. Instead of not wanting to leave home, he never wants to have a home in a way. But the flaw in the musical duel was that I thought Jelly Roll Morton was better.
He was really fooling with him, and it was kind of nasty. He made him dangle out there, and then he really sort of nailed it. And I thought, why is this so venomous? What is the point?
But there's some sweet stuff in it, including his love for a woman. And he writes a theme for her, but he can't quite get down the gangplank to go and follow her, and I thought that was sort of sweet.
Silly.
Okay, well.
And if we look at the ending of that film, there's a simple solution, but without giving anything away, let's just say there is more than one ship on the ocean.
Hey, that's a good idea. We'll be back in a minute. Now let's take another look at the movies we reviewed on this week's show. 2 thumbs down for The Bone Collector, starring Denzel Washington and Angelina Jolie. Good performances, preposterous plot. 2 thumbs up for Last Night, Don McKellar's thoughtful movie about the end of the world. 2 more thumbs up for Liberty Heights, Barry Levinson's nostalgic memory of growing up in Baltimore. I liked it even more than Joyce did. It opens November 17th. 2 thumbs down, though, for The Bachelor, the insipid comedy starring Chris O'Donnell. But 2 very big thumbs up for American Movie, A documentary that's so much fun, you forget it's a documentary. And finally, 2 thumbs down for The Legend of 1900. So we agreed on everything, but the one we both have the most enthusiasm for is probably American Movie.
An American Movie, and I just want to say, if Mark Borchardt can make a movie, anybody can do just about anything. It is so hopeful.
It's kind of the Rocky of independent films. Thanks a lot, Joyce, for coming back to the balcony. Remember, you can hear our reviews, both Joyce's and mine, on the web at ebert-movies.com, part of Go Network, and my print reviews are at suntimes.com. Next week, more new movies, including Anywhere But Here, starring Susan Sarandon and Natalie Portman as mother and daughter starting over in L.A. And The Messenger, starring Mila Jovovich as Joan of Arc. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
Please pass the Polaner all fruit.
Would you please pass the all fruit?
Naturally delicious Polaner all fruit, sweetened only with fruit juice.
Jennifer Convertibles is celebrating the grand opening of its newest stores throughout the USA with incredible savings at all coast-to-coast locations. Jennifer Convertibles.
I should have used Preparation H.
It helps stop itch and irritation with a soothing layer of protection.
I should have used Preparation H.
For Real, where every question has 4 answers. Have fun wagering to see how many answers you can guess right. For Real from University Games.
Closed captioning for Roger Ebert and the Movies is brought to you by...
No one watches your bottom line like Office Max. Office Max. We go to the max for you.